to the Relatable and Obtainable Podcast. What's up, guys?
We should have a theme song, huh? Who wants to write our theme song?
Once we hit like a few thousand subscribers, I feel like we can.
I know, we have like 2 people that watch.
Once we get more subscribers, I feel like we'll fix the whole setup, because right now it's a little bit bootstrap podcast.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
We're looking for a studio space, not just for the podcast, but because I want a place to do my art, and he wants a place to do some sewing, fashion design, I guess. In case you guys didn't know, that Carlos is a fashion designer.
I don't think they knew.
No, okay, so we were having this conversation yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? It was the day before.
It was the day before.
So there's this really beautiful model. Yeah. And I noticed in one of her photos, actually in a couple of photos, I never noticed it before, but I noticed she has this like pretty intense happy trail. You know, like the hair that goes from your belly button down to your nether regions, and you normally don't see them on women, but every now and then, probably depending on where you're from or like whatever, like, you know, some girls have them, but I normally see them on men, you know, like going from their navel to their junk. And so for me, like, we started this conversation, I was like, Carlos, look at this, tell me what you think about it. And he's like, I just was showing him the happy trail part, and he's like, what do you mean? Like, what am I looking at? And I'm like, this is a girl, are you down with this? Are you down with this? And he's like, whoa, it depends on what girl it's on. Sure. And so I like zoom out, and it's a girl, he's like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I'm down for the happy trail, let's go. And I was just like,
I was a little more down, like.
No.
Oh,
he literally was like, oh yeah, like he was.
Have you guys ever seen me do that?
Yeah, because you're on video. No, okay, listen.
He literally. I never do. Oh, I never have done that.
But you did go, oh yeah, like, oh yeah, it's done, like
I
for
was
sure.
Just like, yeah, of course, come on.
You didn't say, yeah, of course, come on, quiet. You said, oh yeah, like you were so
I know,
excited.
but I didn't do. My
you were so like he was ready.
I don't do this. I don't do this shit. Like I don't point my fingers like this. I don't do that. I might have been like, oh yeah, of course, look at that. But very more up, more. But I was like, come on, yeah.
I know, but
that beautiful happy trail, of course.
Okay. He was way more amped up than, like he was like, oh yeah, like for sure.
His face was so fucking beautiful.
He's
like,
was
really pretty.
Yeah, so this got me thinking about, I have spent so many years of my life worrying about stuff that probably a lot of guys don't even care about.
Exactly, and it's not like,
because I'm thinking in my head, listen, I'm Middle Eastern, and I don't think I'm the hairiest of the options that are out there, but I spent my entire childhood, my unibrow, I had a full-on unibrow, okay? And even you said there are some girls with unibrows that can get away with it because they're so pretty, and I'm like, well, maybe I'm just not in that wheelhouse, and he's like, you are. Like, not as excited as the other girl, let me tell you. But I'm just saying, okay, but I spent so long as a little girl just like insecure about my unibrow, insecure about the hair on my body, or whatever. And come to realize no one gives a shit.
Yeah, because you're probably comparing yourself to other women that no guy is telling you anything. No guy did.
No, but I think I have heard. So okay, it does depend. So that's why I was talking. We were getting into this debate. I was like, I think there's a lot of guys that would see that on the model and be kind of grossed out by it. And he's like, no. He's like, not if they're like.
It depends on what type of guy. No, it's not that. It depends on what kind of guy you are. I mean, listen. There's guys who are definitely going to be turned off by that 100%, and there's guys who are not going to care. I was thinking about this more too, because there's a lot of guys who also, would like that for the simple fact that the girl is so pretty that it's like, oh, this is kind of makes her a little bit more relatable. Accessible. Yeah,
oh my God, that's crazy.
There's guys who literally like girls with that have braces because they're like, oh, I think that's like a cute.
It's quirky and cute, and it makes her less perfect.
For sure.
And so I've seen this a lot of places on those like douchey guy shows that are talking about. Actually, no, it wasn't a douchey guy show. It was Andrew Huberman.
He's a fucking.
He's not. You think Andrew Huberman's a douchebag, the neuroscientist?
The only ones that are smart are Fresh and Fit, and they are the ones who know what's up, dude.
It's besides,
Andrew Huberman's a
not the
douchebag.
neuroscientist, but Andrew.
What does he know about life?
Okay, so the neuroscientist was saying that that men tend to choose women. So there's differences between the women that they'll choose to have sex with and the ones that they choose to settle down with, and that most men do not choose the woman who is perfect, like the most beautiful, the most intelligent, the most funny, the most everything, because there is a sense of threat there that they have way more options than they might feel like they have, and that there's a bigger threat of them leaving. So for safety, they tend to mate up with people pretty equivalent to them in terms of attractiveness.
Wow.
So whatever. Unless there's probably some other equalizer, like you see like these billionaire, people obviously like with really attractive girls.
Yeah. But
he was saying on a general basis, men tend to like settle down with people pretty equivalent in attractiveness to them. But that kind of falls in line with what you just said, is like when you get a really gorgeous, beautiful supermodel, but then she has like maybe some kind of flaw in her appearance, it almost makes her more relatable and accessible and makes it less. But it's like, well, we have this secret that we know that you got that happy trail. So, well, it's not a secret because I saw it.
Yeah, no, she rocks it. She rocked it constantly.
Obviously,
I was like,
yeah,
it makes sense, and also like, yeah.
It just blew my mind as a woman who cares so much about that. Like the first chance I had to get laser hair removal, I did, and I wasn't even like I've never in my life had a happy trail. I don't have hair. I have hair like everybody peach fuzz on my navel, but like I've never had hair like that. Yeah. And I just think like I've spent so much of my life worrying about these things, and like what is a guy gonna think? I've never not been perfectly like trimmed up, like you know what I mean, like taken care of, because I have thought that it's like not good. Like, you know what I mean? And then to hear you be like, it doesn't matter, that's hot. Like, I'm like, what? And then there was a slight part of me that just was jealous for a second. Not of her, not because you thought she was pretty, but because it was just like, I wonder what it's like to have that type of confidence and not be like, she obviously puts it out there. She doesn't care.
That's the difference. I think that's the difference. Like,
but
that's what makes it so hot too. She's like, bro, I know that.
She knows that she has it.
I'm rocking it. She doesn't pay.
I was like, if the fact that you could see it in a photo means that it's very prominent in real life, because you can't. If my laser hair or something, and I take a photo, you won't see it in the photo.
I think also hair right now is a thing. Hair on women is like kind of shifting.
Coming back.
It's not like, the girls with women who don't shave their armpits that, they rock that, and like they think that was like the first step into hairism. And then the second thing might be like they don't shave their legs as much anymore because of sustainability and carbon footprints. So I feel like, there's a lot of.
I guess so, because it's like the longer you're in the shower, the more water.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like,
Or like having to change your razors.
But also, it's like fair play, because her face, you see her face, and I think any guy who, enjoys a really beautiful face is going to see that and going to be like, all right, this is what I just have to do.
And that's another part that like surprised me, because I feel like I've heard this from a lot of guys, and I'm very curious to hear from the other guys, because I feel like there's a distinct difference between guys who prefer a pretty face and guys who prefer a hot body. Because the guys that I've been with or talked to or been friends with, I feel like have all told me, against my perception, that face matters more.
Yeah, face matters to me. Yeah, face has always been like, bro, if you have a nice pair of lips on you, if you have a nice face over body.
And again, I spent so much of my youth being like, my body has to be perfect. I have to be working out constantly. I mean, I freaking went through a whole eating disorder. Like, I feel like every girl does. I know, listen, I know what you're about to say. Wait, maybe I don't. What are you about to say?
No, go ahead, say it since you already knew.
I thought you were, okay, what I assumed you were going to say is that it can't be too crazy. Like, you can't totally not take care of your body.
Yeah, it has to be balanced.
There has to be a balance. Okay. But
like guys too, I feel like.
Well, like with anybody, I think depending if you have certain preferences. But I'm thinking like, oh, like guys look at these things over, because I've seen a lot of people where I'm like, they're not the prettiest girl, but when they have a banging ass body, guys think they're super hot.
I mean, I think it's just.
It's like one or the,
like
sometimes at least you have to have one.
So good, and you're like, Jesus Christ, and her face is. Sometimes.
But
like,
no, but I do think there are distinct difference. There are guys that when they'll be like that, they'll be like her body's so banging, and they don't even see the
yeah, and sometimes and sometimes it's also personality. Like sometimes you meet someone with a banging personality, and you're like, damn, this person's not
she's
really
just
someone
beautiful
who,
because of that.
Yeah, and then you're like, yeah, she has it going on. Like this is yeah, like that's also cool too.
So
but that I think that comes with levels of maturity. I feel like you like okay. Because it's not so surface level. You're like, okay, this person is really cool.
Like you're not as worried about what the outside
yeah, exactly. And,
that's how he got with me, guys. No, I'm kidding. No, but for a second, I was jealous of the fact that I'm perceiving that this woman is super confident. Not only is she gorgeous, like there's no denying, like she's super gorgeous, but then she has this confidence to like, she gets photographed and stuff and she doesn't care. Like I would think for me, if it was me, I just wax it or I'd get laser or like something.
Yeah, no, and you know what?
And the fact that she just was like, whatever, it's fine. Like and there's multiple pictures of her like that, and it's not like that's not the topic of the photo. It's not like she's trying to put it out there in that way. It's just more like it is there. I'm like, damn, what is it like to have that type of confidence?
You know what though? Honestly, shouts out to those girls because I even when I was single. And I would scroll on Instagram just seeing girls on Instagram. And I would see a lot of girls with hairy armpits. And I would always be like, that's not, I was never like, that's a turn off. And I actually really didn't like that there were like.
Okay, now we're just getting into like, this is very specific to you. Because I know most guys do not find that to be hot.
I know, but what I'm saying is like, I wasn't like trying to pursue a girl with hairy armpits. I wasn't like, that's a make or break. I was just, you'll scroll and you'll be like, oh, this person, or like, if you go on Bumble and you check the profile out and you're like, oh, this girl is taking a photo and they have hairy armpits. But I would be like, I respect that. That girl's really pretty.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk about why is that hot? Like
it's a confidence thing. I think it's just like, I think it's just like a guy, if it was like, I don't know what girls look for in guys that are just confident. I mean, I have a friend who doesn't have a banging, like he's not like super ripped, he's not jacked at all. I think he's just kind of like funny.
Yeah.
And he pulls a lot of women.
Does he have any other status, money?
No, he's just a funny guy. Like he's funny. I think he's just a funny guy.
That is so true.
So that's what I'm saying. Like
to me, I'm like, bro, how?
How
does he pull?
Like,
he has no money. Okay, guy, this is a lesson for everybody out there. He doesn't have money, doesn't have status, doesn't have looks at all, but he's fucking confident and funny and cool and nice and respectful, and he pulls.
Well, but now he's like back in the day. I don't think he's fucking poor right now.
Well, no, we don't have to put it out there to that detail, so we are basically outing who it is.
Yeah, but
no, he pulled or he can.
Literally, that's the one guy that I was always like, looks doesn't matter, dude. Like, I don't know. He was very wealthy.
But do you think women have that same ability?
Yeah, the girls who that girl.
Or is it just that women are less focused on appearance? Like, will women be more forgiving in that area if the guy's confident, cool, funny, like just charming? Will women be more forgiving than a guy? So let's say the girl is equivalent in terms of the confidence, equivalent in terms of funny, equivalent in terms of like kind, because these are, I think, his best qualities. Do you think a girl will be able to pull as many high quality guys as you think so?
Yeah.
So you're going against everything that Fresh and Fit stands for, everything that Andrew Tate says.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we all have our certain niche, right? We all are within our own bubbles, and you'll find someone within your own bubble.
But again, as like, are we talking high value people or just people in general? Like,
yeah, I honestly think there's more high value people than low value people.
I agree, but I'm just saying that, like, okay, when we're talking about these subjects, let's say we're talking about level 1 to 10 in terms of attractiveness. We're at a 10. We're at a 10 when it comes to ambition. We're at a 10 when it comes to kindness. We're at a 10 when it comes to family values. We're at like the most high value person that you could think of, well-rounded person, right? That person is going to also be down for the girl who's maybe a 2 when it comes to appearance, okay, equivalent, 2, 3, but is a 10 in the character of who she is and how fun she is and how confident she is.
I think so. I'm thinking of who has that.
What man?
I'm trying to think.
What man?
Just I enjoy the confidence. I do like the women that go against the social norms too. Like I do think that's bold and I think that's sexy. It's like, okay, she has, regardless of if she's confident truly or not, the fact that she's just going against the grain to me is like that's a good thing. Speaking of confidence, I also do think like living in PV, there's a lot of old women out here, old couples, and I do like seeing the confidence of old women wearing bikinis. Because I think about that, it's not for me, right? It's for, I think, maybe their age group, and I like to think about the age group.
Oh yeah, he was like...
How sexy I think she thinks that she, like, at the end of the day, I don't think we ever feel our age, right? We're never like, I'm old, I can't do that anymore. You know, like, I feel like there's still urges and there's still a sense of what they call when someone gives you validation that you search for, whether you're young or old.
For
so
sure.
I do like the fact that there's different varieties of these older women out here, like the ones that try to hide their bodies, that just jump in the pool so fast, and then there's old ladies that are just like out here looking crispy like beef jerky.
Okay, but let's talk about ratio.
I just love the confidence of that, dude.
I will say though that this is one of the beautiful things about getting older, I think, because the ratio of women who are trying to hide themselves to get in versus the ones that are like, this is what it is. That ratio gets like, smaller and smaller in terms of the ones that are wanting to cover up. Than the ones that are just like, this is what it is. This is my body. I don't really give a fuck what anybody around here thinks. I'm here to be basking in the sun, to enjoy the pool. Like, I think that confidence, or like just not caring so much about what other people think, grows as you get older, because you realize more and more. When I think that happens, probably because you get more confident in who you are. And then also probably you just cared less and less what other people think because of that, because you just I've lived a lot of life and I know what's important now and what's not. And like,
I don't think that they know that they're that old, because we don't know that. I'm
not saying that they think they're old. I'm saying that I think that more and more as you get older, you care less and less about what other people think, so you just naturally have more confidence.
I do think that too, but I do think that they're also still in the competitive mode. Like, for example, I like to see the different, like, our pool is right here, so we get to see people just hanging out. And then you
watch.
Because you do see, like, there's some ladies that come out with the bikinis on and their little belly out and they're looking, and then you see the certain guys looking. And then there's always this, like, sugar muffin that walks by with a huge rack. They're old. And then all the old men are just like, check that fucking hot show.
I know,
and she's just walking by with her fucking huge tits out. She was walking. She knows. She knew. And that's why she was like, yeah, bitch, like, you better look at.
She was so confident. And she, like, you could tell she tries to take care of herself, like, and then I could tell she was like, this is my moment.
And all the guys.
This is my moment to shine. Like, what's up?
All the old men were like looking like, damn, what the. And it's just funny because there's still like, I like to see that. I'm like, that's cool.
But you also like a nice milk.
No, it's not about me. It's about I like the fact that like within there's whatever
age group
that you're in, like there's still a sense of like I'm a hot shot. And there's just like, the women who are like, I know I have these nice.
Well, you know what I like?
The old men.
I love the old man. No, actually. No, but what I do like is a man who is attracted to age-appropriate women for their age.
Yeah, of course.
Like, that is so refreshing. Like, if you're an older man and you also like older women, like, you're, like, let's just say you're a 50-year-old man and you know, you're still finding 50-year-old women attractive and you're not trying to go for the 25-year-old. Like,
And I
that
think
is
that's what-
so hot.
Yeah, and I think that's what's cool too, because like that's why I like to see that too, because like they're all the same age, so that you
Yeah.
can still see like, because yeah, a lot of times guys do like, you know, you see these old men that look at younger women all the time, right? But then it's also like cool to see like, oh, these old men are looking at that smoke show walking by.
Okay, I want to circle back to the whole thing that we talked about you liking women for their confidence and stuff, but you have also shared with me many a
She's just trying to
times.
come after me at this point.
No. I want to understand. As a woman, I need to understand the way you're thinking. Okay, so because you
I don't
have.
speak for all guys either, guys. I'm a very.
No, you're speaking for yourself. I'm over here just trying to understand
I'm a
you
very
because you're my
complex-
mate. You're the person I've chosen to like
Well, just for you
procreate
guys.
with.
I'm a complex individual.
So you are. So, but many of times you have told me that there are some things that will just give you the ick and it doesn't matter. Like, you're done after that. So that was an exaggeration, guys. I'm not serious about that. One thing you have to know about us is we joke a lot, okay? And we're not serious, so you can't take every little thing
Yeah,
that we
it
say
might seem like we're
seriously.
arguing for it.
Yeah, we're not.
Oh, we are.
Or we're poking fun at each other, but each of us knows that it's just a joke. You know what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind, because I think sometimes, you know, disclaimer. No, but yeah, like I have thought about that. Like if there was something that
I think it's more personality driven. Like
I think you've said something about like okay.
I think it's more personality. I don't think it's something that you could do. I mean,
no, not like personality driven. No, you were it's physical stuff you've mentioned before. Like that's just like I just will be like, nah, that's gross. I don't know, like dude, why am I can't.
cover your tit.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know.
Dude, why can't I think of anything
Yeah, I
now?
don't
This
think
is
so.
the
I don't
worst
think-
time.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think there's one.
No, there is. There have literally been times where you've said that. Or
Did she choose with the mouth open, maybe? No.
oh god, that is so awful.
No, I think what is it? I think there's
Like the
definitely
boob. I think there was a boob situation that you talked about once.
Oh, well, that's. I mean, but listen.
No, but
this
okay,
lady-
but you're talking about the fact that if they're confident in what they're working with, it's fine. But you have literally told me in the past that there are certain things that if your girl had it or something, it'd be like a no.
With the boob situation, that was completely different. That was not anything that had to do with nothing. It was a situation that happened that I wasn't expecting. That I wasn't gonna go back to do. It was just like,
Wait, no.
what nipple? What nipple are you what are you talking about? Boobs?
Oh my god, we're thinking of different situations. He's had so many. No, we're thinking of different ones. You're talking about the bush, not the boob. The bush.
There's a boob and a bush.
So there's a boob and a bush
No,
situation,
I think-
and one he literally ran out on, like in the midst of it. But he was young, guys. He wouldn't do that to a girl now. But he literally left. Was like, I gotta go.
I don't know.
Messed up.
She was married, bro. Come on.
Oh, that was also messed up. He just knew, like not even mid-act, but before he even did it, that it was wrong. And good for you to know that was wrong.
We've all been there, guys. That's why I side with you guys who are in 3-partner relationships.
The thruples.
All right,
that
so then-
the one person.
Yeah,
that's
I don't
no,
think
they're a throuple.
I don't think there's a situation where it might be circumstance. I don't know. It might be like certain things.
There's definitely been okay. If you have a pretty face, you can get away with a lot. Here's what we've learned about Carlos. If you have a pretty face, you can get away with a lot. If you don't have a pretty face, he won't put up with anything.
That's not true.
No, but there are times when you are you say the most evolved things, and then there are times when you just say the most bro-y stuff that I've ever heard in my life. So I think you just have yeah, it's like a duality in you. Maybe you even have conflict with these different sides of yourself.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what it is?
I think it depends on what I need it for. You know, I think I have. Well, I like to keep tools in my shed.
Yeah.
And sometimes I might need to whip one out, but I think it depends. I mean, and this is why I tell you guys, go for these experiences. Like, don't if you live your life, mess up, because at the end of the day, for it's a good armor. It's a good thing to have. To know what was wrong, to feel what was wrong, to feel what was right, to feel what was you know, letting go, to feel, to accept. Like all those things are
So just
needed.
have experience.
So, yeah, it's have experience, and then you can. It's not duality for me. I think it's experience.
Yeah, if I had to go back and talk to my younger self, I wouldn't say to like don't
get arrested. Don't get a record. Don't do that.
No,
but, you know,
no,
be
but
like just be explorative.
as a young person,
explorative.
I took myself
Too serious.
so seriously, you guys. Like I took everything so seriously. So if it was a relationship, it was the most important relationship. If it was my career or my job at the time, it was the most important job of my life. Everything was so flippin' serious.
Yeah.
Like I took myself way too seriously. As a younger person, I don't know when that flipped in me. But no. I'm saying like, when did I become so serious? Something happened.
Oh, yeah.
Something must have happened. But when I was a little kid, I was so silly. I didn't take things super serious. I was a pretty deep kid, like, you know. But I would just be silly with my friends and it was fun. And then at some point, maybe around 14, 15, something happened. I switched and everything was serious. Like I took everything way too serious. I started to work at 14 and it didn't matter if I was working at a pizza shop. It was the most important fucking thing in my life. Like everything, school, everything, I was like perfection. If I could go back, I would definitely tell myself to just, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to not be perfect all the time. It's okay to just have fun. It's okay to just not be number one all the time. Because I think I would have just like experienced a little more of life. And then it was like mid-20s where I think I started to be like relaxing again.
Yeah, I think it's important to try to be number one to yourself. To yourself.
Like in competition with yourself, not in comparison to other people caring about what other people think of you, right? Like, because if it's something that you're passionate about, that's different.
Yeah.
I think I was like trying to prove to myself that I had value in the world, and if people didn't reflect back to me that I was super high value, then I didn't feel it. So I was like, I have to perform at the top all the time so that people tell me I'm the best, so that I can feel that I am worthy of anything. And I just took life way too seriously in that way. And I think around 25-ish, I think things started to like chill, where I was like not as worried about that stuff anymore. And I think it took maybe therapy, I don't know.
I was the opposite.
And he was the opposite, and I listened to him and I'm just like, whoa, I like so envy that in him. So much about you it is like, oh, I love.
I was reckless, but I was dangerous.
I don't know that. I tell Carlos all the time, like, you have 1,010%. He has guardian angels because he shouldn't be alive today.
That was dangerous. It was too much.
The stuff that he did was reckless, but I love his just kind of like free spirit. You have a free spirit, I think, about yourself, and you've always gone against the grain a bit.
And I've always, for sure. And I think a lot of it has to do with, I don't know. I've always had good people around me during the stages of life too, which always have like helped guide me, and have really enhanced who I am today.
Who would you say are some of the most influential people? I mean, you don't have to. You could bleep their names if you want, but who, like, what figures were like?
I think my friend. There's a few, but I think my most influential friend was my friend named Daryl, who I met in Fashion Street. Yeah, he was so chill. Yeah. And he was older than me too, and he was just like super like, dude, it is what it is.
Like super accepting,
but still like adventurous.
Right.
And I remember he he'd come to school, what's up, Daryl, what's going on, blah, 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 blah. So I got this lady, she's ready to sunbathe with a two-piece, full circle.
Go on, baby.
I remember I remember he would come to school and just be like, he would come to school, we'll get ready to work, whatever. We'll get our little tools out for fashion, whatever, for our classes, and then he'd just be like, D, I got a test. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, I'm out. I'm like, where are you going? He's like, she just I'm about to go tap some ass. And he would just leave. And he would just bounce. Like, and I remember just thinking that, but then, like, he was just, like, so, like, or, like, dude, you want to take the day off? Like, you want to go to, like, salsa? Like, you want to go, like, let's go grab some food or something.
Okay.
It would be, like, so many, like, yeah, let's do it for, it was more like, just do it. Just do the things you want for yourself, and the things that need to get handled, there's always, like, another day for that, you know? Or, like, it was
so then
just, like,
how do you tap into that energy while still progressing in life and still being able to accomplish your goals?
I
like,
think to know.
tell me how that looks for you. Like, how do you maintain balance in the sense of, like, I want to have this energy of, like, I'm taking care of myself first, right?
Yeah.
So if this calls to me, I want to pursue that while also understanding that you have certain goals which comes with responsibility.
Yeah.
And you have to take responsibility for those things that you're pursuing.
Yeah.
Because if there's always another time, then how do you ever progress?
No, it's not that you're gonna put it off forever. I think it's more of, like, you know, having a balance between. I always say I'm either very spontaneous, very irresponsible, and I think that it's more of, like, using that that power of knowing that, like, how can I say this? It's like almost telling life, like, I know that what I have to do is gonna happen, but I'm gonna go do something for myself right now.
Like, you trust yourself so
Yeah.
much, and you trust the universe that the thing that's meant for you is meant for you, and that you're gonna accomplish it so much that it's fine if I don't do this one thing today, because it's gonna happen.
And a lot of times,
right?
I think,
that like blanket trust in yourself.
Yeah, and a lot of times when I did take, like, the days off, whatever, like, when we would be like, let's go to scrap some oysters in Sausalito, take the day off. It's like 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
And we would be talking about, like, what we were working on, you know? So I guess it was always like, we would never completely lose our focus. It was more of, like, this is more of, like,
But I'm gonna give myself space and energy
yeah, this is
to,
more
like,
research and development type thing, you know?
interesting.
And
So
that's-
okay, so question. What about the Andrew Tates of the world? Like, what about his messaging speaks to you, because it's a very different message than what you just
It all
said?
goes into hard work. Like, dude, honestly, for me, like when someone's like, oh, how do you start a brand, or how do you do this? I'm like, I would spend days on Google, like, just
Yeah.
Googling things. And, like, is that, like, there's a checklist of, like, you know, I have to do all these things to feel like a true businessman. But in reality, like, R&D is, like, the most important thing for anything, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, I just feel like it's, as long as it's always, like, you know, you're going, it's a parallel kind of, like, motivation, then you're fine. Like, you know, like, if you immerse yourself in the world, then your world will become what you want it to be, you know? So for me, that's why I was always like, I just took everything as, like, art, like, research and development, to be honest with you.
Like, living
that's
life helped give you inspiration
to do
for the
everything.
things that you want.
Yeah, exactly. And then as long as you're not doing, like, you know, you have to be, like, yeah, as long as, like I said, yeah, immerse yourself in your world, and I think whatever you want to become, it would happen. Because, like, for me, like, being a fashion designer, like, I didn't have to go out every day, but for me, it was like, I have to be seen and network and market myself, because I know that I have something that I'm going to share with these people, like, value that I'm currently creating. So it wasn't like that I had it, but I was working on it, and, like, not necessarily physically, but I had a story to tell, and of, like, inspiration. I remember, like, for my fashion show, like, my first fashion show, there was so many people that showed up, and I was like,
Yeah.
what the hell? Like, how? And, like, Examiner showed up, and there was, like, this guy that was, like, the celebrity of San Francisco, Charleston Pierce, shouts out to my boy, CP, who was, like, the leader of fashion, like, the model. He did a lot of model walks, whatever. And I remember he showed up, and everyone was like, what the hell is he doing here? And I was like, I don't know. I have no idea. And then he came up to me, and then after that, we became super friends. But I just felt like it all kind of tied together, you know. But I was always working towards that. Like, I was always selling my dream, and then people were already kind of anticipating, and I did perform. And I think that's the important part, where it was like I did show up, and I said, yeah, remember, I wasn't all BS, because a lot of people talk and talk and talk.
Yeah.
But I was quietly executing, but I was also, like, making noise and doing, I was just marketing and networking. And then all of a sudden, when it was time to show what you were talking about, like, they're like, oh, okay, this guy is what he says he is.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part. That was cool. So yeah, I remember like that's what Daryl kind of showed me too. Like, I think like after us taking these days off, you come even more prepared and more happy to do the thing that you love. And then you're like, I have to get this work done, and I have different source of inspiration and drive and motivation for it. And I did take the day off, so now like this deserves a week, not just a day. Because sometimes you would do things just to get over with. Now maybe it's like, let's rethink this, and even if it takes me a month, I'm gonna like I respected myself, and now I have to respect the work that I have to get done.
Did you ever have, like, growing up, like a feeling of, I have to accomplish certain things by certain times, or was that never?
Every time I did, I always failed. And
yes!
I think that's the worst thing to do.
Every time I feel like you put these arbitrary, like, pressures on yourself. It's like your body and your mind work against you to sabotage yourself or something. Like that pressure.
I think it's there. I think you can do it, but I also think that there's a lot of sacrifice that I think isn't unnecessarily, like, for me, I think, yeah, I don't know. I feel like the time that I've worked the hardest was the time that I sacrificed the most of what I love to do. And when I think back at that time, it was worth it, but it's also like, I probably could have done it
differently.
I probably could have been a little bit more successful at it if I would have, wouldn't have taken myself so seriously in the goal. And I feel like a lot of times it was because I didn't let my goal have room to breathe and like to manifest itself, because I was so on top of it that I was just kind of like,
you couldn't, it was like you had this super micro vision,
yeah,
and you never had the macro vision because you couldn't allow that space to kind of see the bigger picture.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah,
And
I feel so similar.
Yeah, and I think that's when like I spent most of my money. That's when I spent most of my resources, because I felt like I needed to get this thing done soon. And
By a certain time.
By a certain time, and I ended up, I feel like losing a lot of like
progress,
my motivation and progress.
Yeah.
And it just set me back even more. And then the more you get setbacks, the more you feel like overwhelmed, and then you're like, it's not gonna happen. And then hence, or not hence, in hindsight, no. And now, like, thinking about like the different approach of like, taking my friend Daryl's approach is just like going with the flow. It was completely different. Even parenting for him, I always remember when he had his first kid, he was like, he moved, which is why I think I moved. Because he was just like, I'm out. Without any, like, he's like, I'm out.
No hesitation.
Like, no hesitation. We're still gonna be friends, but I'm out, bro. I have to,
this is what's best for my family.
My family, yeah. And so that mentality, and then also just being like, I remember when he was like, I was like, how is it? He's like, it's cool, bro. Like, it's my life. It's just, I just have this thing to do now, but it's cool. And I remember he was never complaining. He was like, yeah, dude, it's fun. Like, we do this. And then when I went to go see him in Minnesota, moved to the worst place in America, he was just like super
happy about it,
chill, like, you want to go grab this. It was the same dude, and I remember just thinking like, damn, when I become a parent, I want to be like that, like super just accepting the flow and not overdoing yourself, and just like being cool about it. And I think even him now, he has his own bakery, and I think he's chilling. So cool.
Yeah, I think it's just so interesting because I feel the exact same way. Like, when I had my business, I used to have a business as well, and I feel like in some ways, again, it's the seriousness of everything, is like wanting to get from point A to point Z like overnight, which is super unrealistic for anybody. It's not necessary. It really, but it's like, oh, but I'm getting older and I just want to, like, it's every time I feel like you feel that way, most of the time it's because, is the external world going to think that I'm successful or not? Yeah. And it's like, and how much can I bear of that? And I think for me, it was just like, oh, I needed things to happen quickly. And I think my biggest thing too is because I wanted to be perceived a certain way, I was really not good at asking for help.
Yeah.
And that is something you cannot do. To be successful with any business, you have to look stupid. You have to be able to ask for help. You have to be able to, I could network, because I was able to get a lot of stuff done, like in terms of networking with people. But then when it came to utilizing that network, I couldn't do it. Like, because it was like, oh my God, it was so hard for me in life to ask for help in any scenario.
Yeah.
Like if I was in a relationship, I could never look weak. If I was in my business, I could never look weak. So that was my biggest weakness, is like this fear of just looking stupid, or fear of thing. And I have a little bit of that still, but less for sure. But yeah, I think that was my biggest thing of like, I wanted to be something that I wasn't ready to be yet. And because of that, I didn't allow myself to do the things that I actually needed to do to make that work, you know, and, you know, hence I went a different direction. But, you know, in life, you always kind of, I think a lot of us look back and go, well, even though I made all these mistakes, I learned from it. And also it led me to who I am today. It led me to all of this stuff. And I absolutely adore my life now. So like, I'm glad that everything worked out the way it was. But if I were to talk to my younger self, I think that would be my top advice, is just to try not to take everything so seriously. Like, things are going to work out, and you can trust that. You could trust yourself. You could trust yourself. You could trust yourself. You could trust the process of life, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
And trust that timing isn't always up to you. And like, I think people get confused with that when they think about like all of these gurus that they're hearing is like, you got to do A, B, and C, and everything is up to you, and everything in your life is your fault. And yeah, true, you need to be accountable for everything in your life. I agree with that. But that doesn't mean that everything is going to happen when you decide it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to just be prepared for when things do happen. You know what I mean? You have to put in the work every day so that you are prepared for when opportunities come. And also you have to do the mental work so that you can see opportunities when they're right in front of your face. Because I think, at least for me, there's probably a lot of opportunities that passed me by because I wasn't ready to see it, you know? So, wow, how did we go from...
Oh, your step. Yeah.
How did we go from happy trails to business advice to life advice? Like, how did we go?
It's happy trails.
Happy trails lead you everywhere you need to go.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's.
What are we doing on time?
I don't know. I think that was cool. That was yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, I highly advise is just like do everything, man. Make mistakes. Just do whatever. Be like for me, like yeah, be whatever, man. If you're presented with a circumstance and you're like, I don't know, just do life. Just do it.
Just do life. Should we end it?
I don't think there's no.
I wonder if you guys like this. This is like a super real conversation that Carlos and I would have, by the way. Like, this is probably the most authentic we've been in any of our videos,
Yeah.
in a way. So I wonder if you guys like that, like kind of peeking in on an actual conversation.
Yeah, probably not.
I know. Tell us what you think.
But no, I think that's it. I think what else do we have for today? What else do we talk about? Yeah, guys, just stay fucking adventurous. Don't be afraid to live life, honestly, man. It's all the mistakes that you think you're gonna make.
And if you have a happy trail, rock your happy trail. That's the biggest lesson. The point is love the things that God gave you and fucking rock that shit. And then you're gonna find yourself a Carlos Roberto to love you.
No, you don't need a Carlos. Or an Amanda.
Or an Amanda.
If your name ends with she's psycho.
She's psycho. Save yourself.
But yeah, man, this was fun. What else? I mean, at this point,
dude, there's so much, but we can just go on and on and on. I think I mentioned in one of our previous videos that after 5 years of being together every single day, by the way, guys, like, I think maybe there's been count on two hands the amount of times that we've been away, and every time it's been for you for a work job. So no more than 10 times. I feel like have we been away for full 24-hour periods. So pretty much every day we've been together since we've met, and we never get tired of talking to each other.
I know.
So we could just keep talking and talking and talking and talking and fucking bore the shit out of you guys forever.
I know. Okay, is there any type of questions?
Oh, we could find questions, but should we do one?
Let's do at least one.
So I have a question for you to end this, and I have a question for
You guys.
What would your younger self think of the relationship you're in today? What would baby Carlos think if he was able to look into the future and see our relationship now?
Wow.
Wow.
I think it would be very happy. I think it would probably be like, this is why he made all the mistakes he did.
Yeah, dude, I think I want to tell you something, that I love you so much, and I would think baby Amanda would feel so much more at ease in life.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. I'm gonna cry. Oh.
It's true.
No, but it's true. I love you so much, and I love our life, and I think I wouldn't worry so much if I knew this is how it would end up.
Oh. That's true.
Yeah.
I think that's true. I think it's true. So I think for me, yeah, it is. It's like all the things that I did were worth it.
Yeah.
Because I did. I met you at the right time and the perfect place, and I think all that really set my life for success.
Yeah, and I feel like it's such a good question to ask, because if you don't have that reaction, like if you think about that and you think about your younger self looking at a relationship and they would be scared or they would be upset or they'd be disappointed, then really question why you're in that relationship. You know?
That's true.
I feel like it's a good question.
Yeah.
I just saw it.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's also, you'll kind of get a lot of clarity, you know?
Yeah.
Because the heart always knows.
Yeah. And that's where we're gonna end it.
Yeah.
A little fucking emotion.
I know, a little emotion. So, Amanda cried.
Oh my god, I'm gonna put that in the thing. Like, wait till the end. It's crazy.
That was cute. That was cute. So yeah, guys, there you guys have it. I love you so much.
I love you.
I love you guys a lot too. So don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. But also, let us know if you guys would like us to add this stuff to like iTunes. You know, maybe we could do an iTunes setup, or
we need to get mics. I know we need to get mics too.
Yeah. Do you guys want us to do like more of a podcast setup? Do you guys like this type of setup? I know this is a little bit more bootstrappy. I mean, we have a camera, we have a microphone, so we're just trying to do what we can with what we have. Let us know if you guys like this. Honestly, it's for you guys at the end of the day.
Yeah, and like more conversational. Do you like that?
And then we'll make it work because we do have fun doing these. And also follow us at Carlos Alberto, Twice the Mood. And your questions down below, whatever you guys have. Answer the question, please. Don't be so lazy. And also, if you guys like our presets are for sale.
Yeah, if you like our editing style, you're gonna get it by using these presets. So check the link and yeah.
Maybe we should do one standing up. That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool because you could do more like this stuff. Like what?
What?
It's fun. All right, guys. Bye.